What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Legalese with Ivy B, where I'm here to help you navigate the law with ease. So today we're going to jump right on into episode 3, where we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, second chances. More specifically, we're going to talk about something called collateral consequences. For those of you who don't know, a collateral consequence is the unexpected, after the fact consequences of a criminal record. It's the things that you just can't think of that would happen to you if you plead guilty to a charge or if you get a simple misdemeanor on your record. Those can have some harsh consequences beyond what you experience in the criminal justice system. And so today we're going to dive right into what those punishments could actually be. In the past, I've done some work with a nonprofit organization where I learned all about collateral consequences. I performed some expungement work, and it grew very important to me to educate the community and to really learn about the secondhand effects of getting a charge on your record. You would think that once you get a charge on your record, you either do your time in jail, you do your community service, you do whatever the court imposes upon you, and then you're done. That ain't what happens, y'all. You are still being punished after the fact. A lot of you probably already know this, but when you get a felony on your record, that big F that is upon your life is stuck with you forever. Like, you really have to deal with that for a long time. I have talked to several people in the community who have discussed some of the harsh implications of having a criminal record. Some of those include not being able to find a job, which is the obvious one. You know, once you go to fill out a job application, you have to select whether or not you have a criminal record, if you have anything on your record. Some people even ask if you've ever been arrested. That's how specific they can be. Other things include inability to find housing. So I have talked specifically to someone who has talked about not being able to secure an apartment because they had a simple assault on their charge that was 10 years old. The apartment complex claimed that they were a threat to the community. And it ended up, basically, the premise of the charge was that they had gotten into a verbal argument with one of their past roommates who took charges out on them, and it ended up in a simple assault charge, which led to 10 years later not being able to sign a lease for an apartment. Like, how crazy is that? It makes no sense. Another thing that can happen to you with a criminal record is, for those of you who are in school or maybe applying to school, you can lose your financial aid. If they find out that you have certain charges on your record, you can lose your student aid. Those are just some of the things that can happen from having a criminal record. But along with that comes public shame and humility with having to answer for your whole entire life whether or not you've been convicted of a felony. And just one thing, we all know that the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, but there's one exception. And for any of you who've watched the documentary 13th, you know that abolishment does not apply to those who are incarcerated. For those who have been labeled a felon, that slavery abolishment does not apply to them. And so I encourage you to watch 13 so that you can learn about the way that the government is still imprisoning Black and brown folks on a daily basis. So in terms of North Carolina expungements, when you get your record expunged, it means that the charges that are there will be completely wiped away, not sealed. They'll be removed from your record. There are a few caveats to that I won't discuss, but essentially, an expungement completely wipes away whatever your attorney gets taken off of your criminal record. In North Carolina, it is hard to get an expunction. You would think that once you go to court, you do your time, you pay whatever the fines are, you can get something expunged. That ain't how it works, y'all. No. In North Carolina, there are certain offenses which require you to wait 5 years before you can qualify for expunctions for misdemeanors. So if you have a misdemeanor on your record, with some exception, for 9 times out of 10, you're going to be waiting 5 years before you can get that thing taken off your record, 5 years after the completion of your sentence. With felonies, it's a 10-year waiting period. Now, granted, North Carolina has made some progress because it used to be 15 years period. So we're headed in the right direction, but still, like, imagine having to deal with your actions that you made 15, 10, 5 even years ago. We all change on a day-to-day basis. So why should I have to suffer for something that I did 10 years ago. And again, this is not legal advice. I definitely advise any of you who are considering an expunction to consult with an attorney. There are some very minor caveats to those laws with regard to minors and certain offenses that can be taken away before those periods. But generally, those are the general North Carolina laws. And so it's hard to secure a criminal record expungement. Furthermore, look at me talking about some furthermore using my lawyer language. In addition to this, an expungement is expensive. I have talked to some of my clients who've told me that their previous attorneys charged them $1,500 to wipe one charge off of their criminal record. Like, imagine going to court, paying your court bond, doing your jail time, struggling to get a job, coming out of all of that, and then trying to start over with your life so that you can actually secure a job to take care of your kids, and an attorney telling you got to pay $1,500 to even move forward with that process. I've literally had people tell me, this is the reason why I go back and do what I was doing in the first place, because I can't get a job when I get out of jail. People literally come home, quote unquote, rehabilitated, which we all know that's a lie, and cannot find a job because of their criminal record. And so it's literally like a cycle that we're creating with people going into the system, especially with those going in and out of prison. So let's go back to the example that I gave where an individual was kicked out of her apartment for fighting with a roommate. So North Carolina is one of the few states that allows citizen-initiated warrants to be taken out, which means that I can go down to the magistrate's office right now and press charges against somebody if I want to. That is just, we're not even going to get on that with regard to my personal opinion, but that is something that can be done. So when you think, oh, maybe they should stay out of trouble, maybe they shouldn't get a record. No, like, getting a criminal record is a lot easier than you think it is, especially for Black and brown people. So with regard to that specific young lady, and I've been permitted to share this story, she got into a fight with her college roommate. Her college roommate, and this is a verbal argument, her college roommate went down to the magistrate's office being petty, pressed charges against her. She got an assault charge. She went to court. The prosecutor dismissed the charges, but she still had a criminal record, because guess what? In North Carolina, dismissed charges still appear on your record. Isn't that crazy? You can go to court, be found not guilty for something, and still have a criminal record. That just is sickening to me. And so she went to court, was found not guilty, but still had a criminal record. And because the apartment complex that she applied for didn't know how to interpret the record, they just saw assault and told her no. Like, it's really an unjust system with regard to criminal records and collateral consequences. It just makes no sense to me. Before you say people should just stay out of trouble, people should just, mind their own business and, stop doing illegal things, let's not forget that pretty much everybody you know is a criminal. We have all done something wrong, y'all. We have all broken a law. First of all, there are crazy laws still on the books. Right now, if you live in North Carolina and you are living with a partner and having sex with them out of marriage, out of wedlock, you're breaking the law. That's still a law in North Carolina. Now, granted, it may not be enforced, but there are a lot of laws out there that we have pretty much all done something in our past life. Every single person that you know has done something and they just weren't caught for it. And if you say that you've never done anything wrong, you a liar, because we all born into sin, okay? So yeah, you just weren't caught for what you did. Don't judge those people who are. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about second chances and why I have this shirt on. I had the amazing opportunity to attend Second Chance Lobby Day, which is a statewide initiative in North Carolina that's hosted every single year, where directly impacted people from the community go down to the legislators' offices and knock on their doors and tell their stories, and also get to push legislation to change the way that things are, push new laws that are more community friendly. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of the clips that show what I experienced at this year's Second Chance Lobby Day. It was an impactful experience to just go down there and hear people who are directly impacted by this system, to hear their stories, and to feel the passion while they were relaying these messages to those who we've elected.
In 1996, and through 1999, I was incarcerated with hundreds of red men. And any of them could be here speaking at this podium. The only thing that separated me from them was opportunity. And that's why we here today. So I'm here tasked to try to find out and encourage you all of why are you here or why are we here. So I got to make that thing real personal. I know why I'm here.
That's right, that's right.
I'm here because in 1996, instead of giving me a therapeutic intervention, they gave me a cage. I'm here because after that, they automatically suspended my driver's license, denied me federal financial student aid, charged me a $50,000 fine that I got a right to the state of Alabama every month, or they can issue a warrant for my arrest. I'm here because I still can't vote, even though I was with our first African-American president in the history of this country, but I still can't vote. I still can't vote in the state of Alabama. I'm here because, just like you, my neck is under the boot, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of asking. We are here. I would submit that we are here because we ain't asking no more. We're here because we're here to make a set of demands, because everybody here got 5 people who love them, got 5 people, even if you can't vote, they'll vote on your behalf, and them people in them buildings work for us. He ain't looking, he looked at my record, and he judged me by it. He said, attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, traffic, firearm by a felon. I was 23 years old with 3 months of working experience. I did a little under 9 years. I've been working since I've been home. I ain't been in no trouble. I got a brother doing 59 years. He ain't coming home. You get what I'm saying? So it's important that all of us reach back and grab somebody. It ain't worth nothing for us to just sit there and help ourselves. We gotta help our little home. Because the little dudes that follow behind us watching us do all around the world ain't little no more. When I came home, the same little dudes I bought ice cream and chips was trying to give me drugs. And I started telling them, bro, you crashed. That federal system is fixed. You're talking about people that don't care about you, that can't relate to you, that's ruling on your life. That's right. How can you rule on me if you don't understand me? Right. It don't make sense. But these are the people making laws. I spoke with a legislator last year about the drug, the death by distribution. And I had to tell him my story. Like, man, I've been out here since I was a kid. I ain't had no guidance. I made a lot of bad decisions. But you ruling on me and he couldn't even relate to me. How can you relate to me? I'm on the throne. You know what I'm saying? You were born with a trust fund. You were straight from birth.
As a result of these people's efforts, North Carolina Senate actually passed the bill, y'all. Passed the bill to immediately eliminate dismissed charges from a criminal record. And so that bill won't go into effect right now. It'll be a while before we actually experience the impacts of that. But like I said earlier, North Carolina is headed in the right direction in terms of providing second chances for people. A lot of times in this fight for justice, it can feel like a hopeless fight, but going to the Second Chance Lobby Day and then a week later hearing the good news about how this bill has been passed and about how dismissed charges on a criminal record will automatically be eradicated from the record. They will no longer appear. That seems like a common sense thing. Like, that seems like it should have been done. There shouldn't have to be a law that permits that right. But the fact that there is and it's passed gave me a lot of hope. All right, y'all, it's been fun. I really enjoyed talking collateral consequences with y'all. Bye. For those of you who don't know, collateral consequences of a criminal